In this session, we're going to be looking to decrease muscle tissue tension, decrease fascial tissue tension, increase joint mobility, and leave you feeling good. We're going to be working on the knee and the ankle today, so any sprains or strains in those areas, osteoarthritis, joint replacements, this is going to help you out a lot. We're going to come down to the foam roller to start, and we're going to work through the hamstrings. So you can grab your foam roller, you can use your ball. I'm going to use my foam roller here today because, we got to give it some love. I do really appreciate the ball here in this, any space really, and it's a great traveling tool. Here I'm just going to do kind of one at a time. We want to start right up underneath the sit bone, that ischial tuberosity where hamstrings are attaching into. Here I'm going to be working through my right leg to start. And then just a little bit of rolling here, 6 or 8 inches, kind of back and forth, coming into your body. We're looking to decrease the sympathetic nervous system activation. So we want to bring you down. You can turn your lights down low and put on some nice music if you want. And then the movements here, we're doing some movements with this is really great. So that's like actively moving to help release the tissue. We would look to lengthen and contract hamstrings, which would be a flexion and extension of the knee and the hip. So extending here and then flexing, dragging the heel back towards you. And then you can differentiate between the inside and the outside hamstrings by doing a bit of rotation of the foot and thus the femur, the upper leg bone here. So a little bit of internal rotation to get you into the inside hamstrings and a little bit of the groin muscles the adductors coming down the inside of the leg. And then some external rotation to get you into the lateral hamstrings and maybe a little bit of the IT band here on the outside. Support yourself with the shoulders, so pressing your palms into the floor from the shoulders and setting the shoulders back, thinking about head position and supporting elsewhere while you work. And then just breathing here, searching the area. Use your intuition, so take the time to stop and sink into an area if you need, or do some slow moving, but if you are moving, just work really slowly. And then we want to come all the way down to the back of the knee. The hamstrings kind of separate at the back of the knee and attach onto the lower leg bones. So as you get down to the back of the knee, you can kind of come into the inside, the outside or the inside there. Again, with some reaching. Gastrocs, the superficial calf muscle, which we'll be getting to in a second, also crosses the knee up onto the femur. So you'll be starting to work into that tissue a little bit too, so you can do some flexion and extension at the ankle as well if you want. But don't worry, we still got the other side. So just take your time here. The ball, like I said, like an orb like this is really great. I wouldn't use the small ball though, like a lacrosse ball for this. Is really good and more specific, and you'll be able to apply more pressure since we don't have our torso weight over top of the rolling area. We're not at an advantage of using our body weight. So you could also double the leg over to add a little bit more weight to that too if you need. I like more pressure. I usually find that's the way to create change, is adding more pressure than you might think you would want. The trick is to add it very slowly, so you're not pressing a high-speed push into the roller. You're easing in and adding that weight and rolling. And then when you're ready, you can switch over into the other leg. Same thing here. You can start up at the sit bone if you want, or you can start by the knee. Doesn't matter. Make this as your own. This is about you today. And thanks for taking the time for yourself, you know? You owe it to yourself. Breathing, supporting the shoulders, let everything else go, bring your mind into your body and just roll. Reaching that heel. Maybe internally rotate here, rotating the whole hips to get into the inside of that leg a bit, the inside hamstrings, and some reaching. Check all the way through the muscle belly as well. I do find the most important area to work is at the attachment where the muscles attach into the tendon and then into the bone, the periosteum, the connective tissue surrounding the bone. But take your time through the belly of the muscle. If you have a tear there, some scar tissue or something, there would be a lot of work to be done there. So, you know your own body, or mostly anyway. So, work to that. And then getting right across the knee as well, getting into that inside and outside here. I wouldn't work too deep into the middle of the knee, the popliteal fossa, like the back of the knee. There's a lot of superficial nervous tissue there and artery, vein. So just kind of be mindful of that area. Popliteus, a muscle that kind of locks the knee out, is there though. So that might be something worth working on if a practitioner has talked to you about that or that's an issue. Nice. And then when we're finished with that, you can do a little bit of jiggle out here. You can grab some water, whatever you need. We're gonna go from here down into the calf. I'm gonna move into a ball. You can keep using the roller if you want. Since we're getting further away, we have less weight here down in the lower leg. I like to use something a little bit more specific. Hence the ball. So you can just sink in here. Remember I was talking about the superficial gastrocs muscle crossing the knee and attaching on the outside into the femur. You can work all the way across the knee there. Along that kind of outside and inside. There's like 3 layers to the calf. Or to the back, the posterior muscle aspects. You have gastrocs, which is the most superficial. That's what gives the calves that nice shape. And then you have soleus underneath. Soleus doesn't cross the knee like gastrocs does. And then you have the posterior compartment that's deep to all of those, where tib post and flexor digitorum longus, these other muscles are there. So that could be something definitely worth sinking into and working through those tissues to get deep. So just really relaxing the back of your leg. Oh man. Yeah. And then working into the outside of the leg as well, along the edge of the fibula. We have fibularis longus and brevis. These small muscles attaching to long, but skinnier, attaching to the fibula, and they'll wrap around to the base of the fifth and underneath into kind of a stirrup into the big toe here, back into the bones of the foot in the arch there. So it's a big supporter of the arch. Those can have a lot of tension there if you're a runner or a horseback rider or any number of other things, but just ease in through there. That is pretty intense. Here I'm really slowing down because of the tension here, and I'm dorsiflexing or plantar flexing. my toes down, pointing, just doing it very slowly. And then dorsiflexing. Words are tough. Pulling the toes back up towards the knee. And it's really important to listen here. Your body will tell you what you need to do. As things intensify, just slow, lighten things up. And then you'll find you'll be able to just kind of sink in a little bit deeper then, if you are mindful. Oh man. These muscles will often get sprained or strained, I should say, in an ankle sprain, like rolling over the ankle is quite common. So if you had an old muscle ankle sprain there and strain some, usually with the sprain, you'll also strain some of the muscle tissue around the ligaments that you strain. So this can have an amazing effect if you've sprained an ankle recently on that outside, which is the most common sprain for the ankle. Nice, and then you want to get through that inside kind of calf. There's not necessarily as much there as on the outside, but just checking that out, and some plantar and dorsiflexion here as you work, getting down into the Achilles tendon. You can work all the way up into the back top of the calcaneus, the ankle bone there. And then when you're ready, check in with the other side. You can start down by the ankle at the heel, or you can start up at the knee. I always tend to kind of work from the hip down for some reason, unless I really need to work on a specific area for something, but just listen to the force, it'll tell you. Breathing. Use your intuition, being in your body, supporting here. You're sitting down on your butt here, so your sit bones, so you can be a little bit more relaxed, but still support your shoulders. Plantar and dorsiflexion are your moves here. And when you're working up across the knee, you can do some knee flexion and extension as well. Flexing the heel down, extending, reaching the toes up towards the ceiling, working through that outside. Yowza. You're probably going to feel some major differences between your sides as well. We use our legs very differently. We tend to think we use them the same on both sides, but that is definitely not true usually. Due to injury or certain sports, we might do sports that are more one-sided, or injuries to the foot, the ankle, the knee, the hip totally change the way you walk for a while, and sometimes a lot of people never get out of that movement pattern. It's something that you have to actively go back and change, so just being mindful of that here. And this is a great way to connect with your body, and it will give you so much information about how you're using it. And you can use that information to maybe help change your movement patterns, pushing more off of that left foot because there's not as much work being done there maybe, or whatever it might be. You could also use this information next time you go in and talk to one of your healthcare practitioners, a chiropractor or massage therapist. You can tell them that I was really, noticing this area, and that could be really helpful information for them. Or maybe they'll tell you you're crazy, but that's probably not what's going to happen. Working through that inside and the outside. Take as much time as you need here. And feel free to move at your own pace. If I move on here, which I'm going to in a second, you can keep working in the leg if you haven't covered the whole lower leg on the back yet. And make sure you get all the way down. It's a slippery little guy. It's a game in itself. Keep your foot on the ball. Working right down to the ankle bone there, the heel bone. Excellent. Take as much time as you need there. Give them a little shake out. How you doing, guys? All right. The next thing we're going to work on is the anterior compartments of our leg. Quite often forgotten, but oh man, this can help you out a lot. So you can use a roller here, like a hand roller. You can dust off your pastry roller from upstairs. Heaven knows you're probably not baking with it. Not many people doing that anymore, but we want to work right from the tibia. You can feel the crest of the tibia here with your hands. Usually a nice ridge there. We're working to the outside laterally from that, and you can feel the difference. We have bone here, and then we have muscle tissue here. So you can work right from that edge, touching right in on that ridge, all the way out to the outside, out to the peroneals. Yes. If you don't have those, which most people won't, we'll use a roller. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up over top, a little bit of internal rotation. So I'm turning across my body with my leg here, kind of turning my toe inward. And I'm just going to start up at the knee, just below the knee. It doesn't cross the knee here on this, in this muscle tissue. Pressing, anchoring the shoulders, support yourself here. And then same thing here is plantar or dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. So flexing and extending the ankle. Breathing here. Sink in anywhere you need. This might surprise you, this area. Lots of dense fascial tissue, connective tissue, kind of holding those down. So you can often kind of feel that a little bit more here than in some other areas, or in the IT band as well. You can kind of notice that feeling of a dense connective tissue working through that. And work all the way up to the ankle here. Maybe even bringing your knee down. Or you could have your knee on a yoga block here. Supporting yourself. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. And then you can just kind of work. Whoa. See, you learn something new every day. Look at us go. I'm still adapting my rolling and my supports, and every time I roll, I'm trying new things to get into new areas, depending on how my body's feeling. When you're finished with that side, that's right. We've got another side. Check in with that. So again, we can come to the roller. I'm really enjoying this block here. Takes a little fandangling to make it work, but I figure you can fandangle. Definitely feel much more supported here. and then some a plantar and dorsiflexion, supporting the upper body, adjusting your block anytime you might need. You don't have to use it either. You're just going to do more supporting with the quad here. Adjust the roller anytime you need with your hand. Taking your time there. All the way down to the ankle. There's a dense connective tissue across the top of the ankle here called the retinaculum, where all of your tendons go underneath so they don't bowstring and come up and look all weird if we didn't have those. But there's a lot of friction there from movement. There can be some binding between those tissues, so that's always a good place to work, right at the crest here of the ankle. Excellent. Spend as much time as you need there. You can shake things out, grab a drink of water. It's always kind of surprising working through that area. We're going to get into quads. So we want to work all the way from the anterior superior iliac crest, that hip bone, that pointy hip bone in the front here, down the front of the leg, all the way to the top of the kneecap, the patella, and through the outside and the inside as well. So we want to get into groin on the inside, and we want to get out into the IT band kind of area out here. So here we're going to be doing a little mini plank. So on the elbows, I'm just kind of getting into one side, right at the top, right under that hip bone here. And then I'll switch into working both legs at the same time. Just check in on this. How you doing? Quads getting tight. Also pull into the kneecap, which can cause patellofemoral syndrome, especially with different movements of the knee, coming forward, putting a lot of pressure into that kneecap over time can cause that. But it also pulls down on the hip, pulls the hip into an anterior rotation, which flexes through the low back. So this can help a lot of low back stuff as well, managing quads. But our focus is the knee here. Focus is the knee here. And we want to work through both sides. So kind of checking in at the top with both sides. You can work just one leg at a time, but we really want to get that rotation of the body so we get into the inside and the outside of the leg. If you're doing both legs right after you get kind of out of the groin area, you can work both legs, and you can, if you rotate, you can get the inside of the leg and the outside of the leg at the same time on opposite legs. So just play around with that. Usually just working one leg at a time is the most effective, and you can get all the way onto the outside of the leg as well. Supporting here, we're working through IT band, the outer quad muscle, vastus lateralis. It attaches into that top right outside corner, I should say, of the patella, the kneecap. So take your time, anchor the shoulder, support yourself. Support yourself. You deserve it. Abdominals are on. Oh man. Move slow. Breathe. We're not here to just get through it. We're here to make change. So take the time you need to make change. And moving slower is going to allow you to feel what's happening and make small adaptations a little bit easier. I know it's hard to slow down sometimes. Life is so fast, but that's why we're here. We're here to take things back a little bit, slow down, take care of ourselves. If you can't take half an hour in 1 week to take care of yourself, then that's too bad. We spend our whole lives in this body, and it's our job to take care of it. Not other practitioners, it's ourselves that have to live in it. And nobody cares about your body more than you do. No practitioner that you go to is going to care about your body more than you. So learning about it and taking care of it is such a huge, important thing to do in life, I think. Make sure you get into that other leg, getting maybe right up into the outside, working all the way down to the top of the knee and up into the top of the hip. As you come around into the outside there, you're going to get more into glute med and min, the outside stabilizers of the femur and the hip, which is a huge part of stabilization of the knee. That's where it all starts. So get up in there, do what you need to do. Right in between the greater trochanter, you can kind of feel as you kind of come up the leg here, you might feel a bone here. That's the greater trochanter of the femur. In between that and the hip bone, the iliac crest up here, that's where the outside glutes are. So check into that. Spend as much time as you need on each side. And the last place we'll check in on is adductors. So keep working on quads if you need to, but next thing we're going to come into is the inside of the leg here. So you can bring the roller down kind of parallel to our body line on the outside. And then we can work all the way from the groin down to the outside and across the knee here with some flexion and extension of the knee. You might get into the inside of what you're kind of working on in the quads there. This is a huge part of the knee and the hip for that matter, and get right across the knee. Anytime I'm rolling, I'm always working across the joint, unless you have reason not to. Muscles cross the joint. It's usually the tendinous aspect that crosses it, and there's a lot of neuroreceptors in there. We're looking to activate these neuroreceptors to sort of engage these reflexive pathways to decrease tension in the tissue. Amongst many other things, we're adding pressure, creating friction, and breathing. And then you can switch sides. Again, take as much time as you need here. Some reaching at the knee. And you can get right up into the groin. Get close and personal with the foam roller. You don't even have to buy dinner. And then work all the way across the knee. Spend more time where you need to. Take your time, support the body and breathe. And then when you're ready, you can come out. Take some time, you can shake out the legs here. Ease out, grab a drink, take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.